Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whichever it is for you. It is Mr. Ransom here once again with our final string video. This is the third one in our series of these 2 weeks. This week's, or this day's, I don't even know how you talk about time when you're recording these weeks in advance. Today, this video is going to show you some of the Boolean commands that you can use with strings. Boolean, remember, gives you things that are true, false, basically like is it or isn't it. So let's begin. I'm going to start with a word. I'm going to have a string. I'm going to call it preexisting. I believe I spelled that right. Let's find out. Did I spell preexisting right? Preexisting. Hey, look, I spelled it correctly. Haha. See, kids? You, too, can look up words if you spell them wrong, or you think you spelled them wrong. Just a little hint for you. All right, so why did I do pre-existing? Like, why did I pick that outlandish word? Well, we're going to start with a command for starts with, and I'm going to say, hey, does my word start with pre? And it's not going to be equal to anything because technically it's going to be like double equals true. But yeah, I'm going to say this word starts with pre. So you're going to look at prefix and suffix first. You're going to say, does it start with this, end with this? Of course, the end with command will do here momentarily. Let me save this as string video 3. Let's do it. Of course it does. Let's do one that doesn't. How about re-existing? Not that that's a real thing, but why not? Let's try it. Nothing prints. Of course it doesn't because it doesn't work. And so let me just take all that, copy it, and paste it, and throw that over here. Now I'm going to do ends with. Does it end with ing? A very common suffix. So you have starts with and ends with. It's going to match up the string, give you the Boolean commands. So let me just note that these are some of the Boolean functions, commands, whatever you call them. Used mostly with if statements to determine true or false for whatever the case is. So next, there's the is alpha, and there's the is digits. So is it an alphabetical character or is it a digit? All right. So if I say something like word 1 equals ABC 1 2 3, if word 1 dot is alpha, is alpha. Now put those after it, print. This string is entirely alphabetical. All right, let's try it out. Of course, it should not print anything. It doesn't. That's good. So let's make it that way. ABC without the 1 2 3 parts. This string is entirely alphabetical. So is alpha will determine is it entirely alphabetical? All letters. The digit, of course, is for all numbers. So if I, again, let me just steal this, copy, paste, boom, put this over here, is digit. This string is entirely numbers. And I'll change this to 1 2 3. So it should print the string is entirely numbers instead of the string is entirely numerical or alphabetical, I should say. So that's good for when you want to see is something a letter that you'd like to type in. Like it's used often for inputs. Like if you're saying I only want to allow you to enter in letters, not characters, not numbers. So you could do something like come down here and say password equals input. Please enter a 4-digit PIN. So a PIN would be 4 digits. So you could say if password dot is digits. That's for, if it's entirely digits, then you can say else print you did not enter 4 digits. And some of you might be thinking, well, how do you know they entered 4 at all? Thought about that. We're going to do that in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Now let me try it again. Let me do A, B, C, D, 1. You did not enter 4 digits. So how can we also check that they entered in 4 and no more, no fewer? So if it is digits and password length, so you put length back here. If the length of the password double equals 4, so not only is it 4, but it's also all digits, so both conditions are true. Print out thank you, otherwise say nope, you didn't do the correct thing. Of course, you could do like quit the program because they didn't do it the way you wanted it to do it, or you could do a loop that goes back up to make it type it in again. But I'm just showing you some quick hitting examples here. The final 2 commands are similar to is alpha and is digit. There's also is upper and is lower, and you can surmise exactly what you think they are. Did you type in something entirely uppercase or entirely lowercase? So if I have like str1 equals ABC in all caps, if str1 dot is upper, then print this is all uppercase, and yep, it sure is. So those are just a handful of string commands that we've seen over the last week and a half. You can now, or should now, be able to handle really mostly any string program thrown at you. Let me here quickly just remind you that everything we do in class is not everything. There's tons of stuff out there. If you just Google Python string commands and you look at this up, we've done some of these capitalize, but there's so much more. There's converts case to lowercase, case fold. You can do encode, like if you change all the A's to something strange or different. You could do is alnum, are all the characters alphanumeric? So in other words, are letters and numbers but no special characters? Is it a decimal? There's so many commands out here. We have only scratched the surface of them, but that's why it's an introduction class, boys and girls. So use all these commands to do your assignments. One of your assignments this week is to do the coding bets. I'd like you to do that before Friday at midnight this time, not Sunday, but if I go to string 2, let's do double char, for example. Given a string, return a string where for each character in the original there are 2 characters. Okay, so let me up this. And if I show the hint, it says in Python the loop for I in range length loops I through each index of the string, 0, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. All right, fantastic. So you're getting a little bonus here because you're watching the video, and everybody that didn't watch this video, you don't get to see this. So I'm going to do this one together for you. And when I say together, I mean I'm going to do it and you're going to see it because I'm not together with you right now. You're on the other end watching wherever you're watching. So check this out. If I say 4-letter in str, so str is the word coming in, or I mean it's not really technically a word, it's like the string. Each letter, the singular from the whole thing, the whole word, that's for loop. You're going through each element in the list. Remember, strings are really thought of as lists of characters. Well, print, or I shouldn't say print because you need to return it. I forgot that part. So if I say, okay, I'm going to say new word. Starts off as empty, just a blank word. New word equals new word plus the letter, but that's 1 letter. You want 2 letters. So you're saying take the old word, which is called new word, add on 1 letter, add on another letter. When you're done, return that new word. go. There we are. So all of these are going to use a loop, unlike the ones you did last week. The last week ones, they're just do them. These involve a loop. And so don't forget this right here. And if you ever need to manipulate the string to make a new one, use this technique here, like make a new variable. It's no different really than saying like count equals 0, total equals 0. You're trying to accumulate. You're trying to accumulate a new word out of parts of a previous word. So you start the new word as 0. Of course, it's not 0, it's an empty string. It's called a null string or empty string. That's the equivalent of a 0. So you say new word equals nothing, and then add on from there. In this case, 2 letters at a time. So here's one done. You now have 2 more to go. And don't tell anybody else this. If you can do all 6, you're going to get extra credit for the marking period, the 3rd marking period. That does not go outside this video. So, it's a secret. All right, thanks, gang. Take care.